Snow fell softly against the glass windows of the Carter mansion, dusting the world in white as though preparing it for something sacred. And inside that grand home, full of chandeliers, marble floors, and the constant ache of loneliness, stood Emma Hayes, the nanny who had never expected to stay longer than a month. But then she had met Lily, and everything had changed. The first day Emma arrived, she could tell the house wasn't a home. It was a palace of silence, not the comfortable kind, but the heavy kind that pressed against the walls like a held breath. Mr. Carter, a millionaire known more for his business edge than his warmth, lived there with his 6-year-old daughter Lily, a little girl who couldn't hear the silence she lived in. Lily had been deaf since birth, and after losing her mother 2 years ago, she had retreated even further into her own quiet world. Tutors, therapists, and previous nannies had all tried to reach her. Some stayed a week, some a day. None made it past the walls she'd built. Emma didn't arrive expecting to be the one who did. But on that first morning, when she knelt beside the shy, withdrawn girl signing hello, she noticed something most people missed. Lily lifted her eyes not out of obligation, but curiosity, and that was enough. For months, Emma became the child's entire universe. She taught her signs for colors, for feelings, for the little everyday things that children love: cookies, sunshine, dogs, story. They built gingerbread houses, fed stray birds, read picture books, and sat for hours beside the living room fireplace where Lily felt safe enough to fall asleep against Emma's shoulder. Slowly, the little girl who rarely looked up began to smile. Though her world lacked sound, she learned to feel laughter in her chest, comfort in a hand holding hers, love in the warmth of someone who stayed, someone who chose her. Mr. Carter watched from a distance, always from a distance. He admired Emma's patience, her kindness, the way she made his daughter sparkle in ways he thought impossible. But he was buried in guilt. Guilt that he couldn't help Lily the way Emma could. Guilt for the work that stole him away. Guilt for the wife he'd lost and didn't know how to grieve properly. He didn't know how to say any of it. He just watched silently as the woman he hired became the beating heart of his fractured home. But everything beautiful seemed to come with an expiration date. Emma had been working only temporarily. Her teaching program was opening a position overseas, something she had planned long before she ever stepped foot inside the mansion. And after weeks of avoiding the conversation, she finally told Mr. Carter she'd be leaving on Christmas Eve. She saw the way his face fell. She didn't see the way Lily's world cracked. When the little girl found out, she refused to come out of her room. Days passed where she wouldn't eat, wouldn't read, wouldn't sign. She curled up with the small stuffed rabbit Emma had given her and stayed there, grieving the loss before it even arrived. Emma cried in the hallway the night before Christmas Eve, her hand over her mouth to hide the sound, even though Lily couldn't hear it. It didn't matter. Grief was something the heart heard louder than ears ever could. Christmas Eve arrived with the heaviness of a farewell no one wanted. Emma packed her final things, but her chest ached with each folded sweater. She walked through the mansion slowly, memorizing the corners where she and Lily had sat, cooked, played, told stories. She wanted to leave quietly, believing maybe that would hurt Lily less. But Mr. Carter stopped her. "She needs to see you," he said softly. His voice cracked. "You can't disappear like everyone else did." When she entered Lily's room, the little girl was sitting on the rug by the Christmas tree, small, mittens on her hands, tiny braids falling over her shoulders. She looked up the moment she sensed movement. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Emma sank to her knees, her own tears making it hard to see. She signed slowly. "I'm so sorry. I don't want to go. But I have to." Lily stared at her hands, then at her face. And then she did something she had never done before, something no one, not even her specialists, believed she would attempt for years. She opened her mouth. A sound came first, strained, trembling, broken. Then a second. Then a word. "Mom? My..." Emma froze. The world froze. Even the snow outside seemed to pause in its fall. Lily reached out with shaking arms, pressing her forehead to Emma's chest as though she were trying to remind her heart how to beat. "Mommy," she whispered again, this time with certainty, this time with all the love she didn't know how else to express. Emma broke. She wrapped the child in her arms, sobbing into her tiny knit hat. The word wasn't perfect, but love rarely was. And though Lily couldn't hear her own voice, she felt the vibration of her emotion. And she knew she had said something important, something life-changing. Mr. Carter stood by the doorway, hand covering his mouth as tears streamed down his face. He had spent years wishing his daughter would someday speak. Never did he imagine the first word she'd choose wouldn't be his name, or her mother's, or even something simple. It was the name she had given her heart. "Stay, please stay," Lily signed with trembling hands. Emma tried to walk away but broke down, rushing back to hold the child. "I can't leave you," Mr. Carter stepped forward. "Stay, not as a nanny, as someone we need, both of us." And Emma finally whispered, "I'll stay." Christmas morning was different from any other day the mansion had ever seen. Lily, bright smiling, giggling without sound but bursting with light, ran through the house showing Emma every present, every decoration, every cookie she wanted to try. She signed wildly, mixing gestures with her own excited language only she and Emma understood. Emma laughed until her stomach hurt, and for the first time in a very long time, Mr. Carter laughed too. There was no silence that day. Only love, love spoken with hands. Love felt through hearts. Love carried in a little girl's first word. Months later, when Lily learned to say mommy again, clearer, stronger, Emma cried just as deeply as the first time. And when she learned to sign family, she took both their hands and signed it slowly, proudly, family. Christmas hadn't simply given her a gift. It had returned everything she lost: a mother's warmth, a father's heart, a home, and a love that didn't need words to be heard.